solving for lengths using the cosine ratio. Again, our definition for cos is the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. I'm going to draw my right angle in a different place this time. We're going to talk about this angle here being 60 degrees. And the first questions that we're going to solve for, questions 1, we're going to solve for the adjacent side. So the question would look something like this. So we've got a right angle triangle. We've got one angle measured. We want to solve for the adjacent side. How do I know that that's the adjacent side? Well, again, I'll highlight the angle that I'm talking about. The hypotenuse is always the one opposite the 90 degrees, so I know that the 13 is the hypotenuse. The x that I'm trying to solve for is right next to the angle, so that's my adjacent. So what I'm going to highlight, based on that angle of 60, the x is my adjacent, the 13 is my hypotenuse. Once you've labeled it, now you can go to your definitions, and our definition of cos of 60 degrees is equal to the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Multiply both sides by 12, because that's the opposite of dividing by 12, and we get 12 cos of 60 degrees equals x. Type that into your calculator, and this one works out to a nice even number of 6. Because I did that one in my head. But that's, I said I've done lots of math. Some of these things I can do. Okay, so we get x is equal to 6. So that's the first type of question where you've solved for the adjacent side. The other type of question that can happen for solving for a side, we did the adjacent. The other one is solving for the hypotenuse. So that'll be our second type of question. Solving for the hypotenuse. I'll draw another right angle in a different spot here. We're going to use this angle of 20 degrees, and this time we want to solve for the hypotenuse, and we're given the adjacent here is 7. So again, how do I know that I'm going to use my cosine definition? I'm talking about the angle of 20 degrees. With that 20 degrees, I can label my sides. I know the x, because it's opposite the 90 degrees, is my hypotenuse. I know that the 7, since it's right next to the 20 degrees, is my adjacent. So I've got my adjacent here, my hypotenuse here. Now I can write out the definition of cos. Cos of 20 degrees is equal to adjacent, which is 7, divided by hypotenuse, which is x. Whenever the x is in the denominator, we need to take one extra step, multiply both sides by x to move it out of the denominator. So then we have x times cos of 20 equals 7. Divide both sides. Here, I'll erase this. To get x by itself, we need to divide both sides by cos of 20 degrees. Then these will simplify, and we're left with x equals 7 divided by cos of 20. We type that into our calculator. See if you get the same thing. 7.45. A quick check. Is that the longest side now? Yes, it's longer than 7, which is good, because your hypotenuse should always be the longest side.